Hey, Trails Collective, Ian here with the weekly rundown for September 23rd, 2020. Hopefully this all finds you doing well, hanging in there. So let's see, what's shaking? The Bold Coast Bash. This is so one of the things that I was going to hope to do this year, pre-COVID, for the Trails Collective was to participate in an event in each of the 13 states. Not to compete, but just to participate, hopefully meet some people from that community and explore some new places and some cool races. So the one that I had slated for Maine was the Bold Coast Bash in Cutler, Maine. So they had pushed back their registration date to make sure things were looking good enough to go, and that just opened up this morning. It has a low cap of 60 entrants. They have a 10, a 20, and a 30 mile. And their plan was to, I think, prioritize the 30 and the 20 mile distances in the mix. Currently, I believe, just prior to filming here on Monday evening, that there's 42 of 60 slots already spoken for. So if this has some appeal, not too far away, it looks like a really beautiful course way up in the northeastern stretches of Maine along the coast. It's a loop course, follows a portion or at least half the loop along a pretty rugged, beautiful, remote-looking coastline, with the back part of the loop coming back inland or through the woods. It looks really spectacular. It's a bit of a haul. I'm based in Ithaca, New York, so it's about an 11 and a half hour drive, something like that. And hope will be to split it up and maybe visit a couple stores or some other trail-related places or people along the way that maybe we can stop in and check in with and give a bit of exposure to along the way. And then to come back through probably Vermont and visit some friends and do the same coming in that direction. So race is November 15th. Registration just opened on Ultra Sign Up. There may be some slots left if you are still interested, but it looks like a really beautiful event. Let's see what else is happening. On the TC interviews piece or component of the Trails Collective, Ellie released one with Scott Parr this past Friday. Genuine dude on the trail circuit in my neck of the woods. Actually fans out and does some far and away events as well. But get a good interview, check it out. And then I think this Friday, I believe, is maybe Debbie Livingston on deck here. So for sure, stay tuned, check that out. If you check out the YouTube channel here, please help us out by subscribing, and so you get the at least notification when you open up YouTube that there's something new there to be checked out. And please share it as much as you can. It's really helpful. What else? What's been shaken out in the field? The Virginia Happy Trails crew posted, I think, a work party day or two. A group of them did some mowing, or as they termed it, gave a trim of Short Mountain on the MMT section. Really good crew out there doing some cutting, some limbing, I think it looked like, and some mowing. So thanks to that crew out there and for all of you that are doing work in your own necks of the woods. And they also posted a link for those who might be interested in getting in the loop of trail, other opportunities that they may have coming up. We'll post it and plug it here. Let's see, also linked on the Virginia Happy Trails page, there was a nice write-up on an endurance athlete, Sheila Vibert, who ran the northbound 107-mile section of the AT for an FKT through Shenandoah in, I think it was maybe in July. I believe we mentioned it or covered it as well. The source of their link was a page, an entity called Women of the Mountain. And just checking it out, it looks like a really well done and inspirational site, plugging, just as the name implies, women in the mountains. So for sure, check it out, and we'll plug it here, Women in the Mountain, and a nice write-up on Sheila. Let's see, what else? Gear we reviewed this past week. We put out a review of 5 of the best hydration vests for women so far in the line, or in the lines rather. There's, I think, 5 different brands that we reviewed, and of the 5, I think 3 of them stay unchanged into 2021, if not 4 of them. So this will be applicable going into next season. So if you might have a friend that might be interested or in need of a women's hydration vest, check out our reviews, and appreciate anything in the way of, if you value it, like it and share it as well. We'll also put out one this week from a friend who I mentioned last week is currently reviewing a few of the entry-level vests from 3 different brands. Actually, I might have them with 4. And it's really to coming at it from someone who has a road rather than trail background for the most part, and is, I think, unimpacted so far by any trail culture or media or what have you. So I was hoping it would be kind of an unvarnished new take on hydration vests. So stay tuned for that. I'll try to do some editing this week. New that came into the shop this week, let's see, we brought in or opened the full line of Squirrel's nut butter. Some good products here per review. We've traditionally carried Body Glide and Sport Shield. Both work pretty well. But to support a brand that for sure is trail oriented in culture, in product, and with good reviews, get your Squirrel's nut butter, Trails Collective. We also opened up the line with Coros. I sat on it for a little bit. This week we have the Apex that arrived. Another model is back ordered. We'll give you the heads up when it arrives. But we're pretty stoked about Coros. We've traditionally carried some GPS from various brands. Most of the sales coming from Garmin. And Garmin's done really well for us, and it's been a good product. But we're really stoked about the battery life capacity coming out of Coros, and a little bit lower price point versus Garmin. Both, I think, suiting the trail market pretty well. Coros, maybe in some of their models, not necessarily the Apex, doesn't necessarily have all of the features of Garmin, but I think in terms of what most people would actually use and value or need, I think maybe a little bit better fit for what we're after. So we'll play with it some coming up, but Coros is now in the lineup for us. And then one of the newer products from Petzl, the Iko Core, a pretty slick new design, billing it as minimal. I mean, I don't know if necessarily a plastic wrap is minimal versus just a elastic strap, but I think it's pretty light. I haven't tried it out there yet. 500 lumens at max burn, gives you 2.5 burn time at that 500 lumens, and 9 hours for a more casual 100 lumen in there. So we'll hopefully get a chance to play with one of the models, but that is now in as well, and a pretty cool looking new headlamp. Let's see. The virtual events in motion out there at the moment. The New York, New Jersey Trails Conference, as we mentioned, is doing a 100-mile trail-a-thon. They're now a week or two into it, and they're getting a great amount, thankfully, of community support so far. They could for sure use more. As I've mentioned, a really wonderful entity that does a huge amount of heavy lifting for the trails that we and runners and hikers use, at least in the New York, New Jersey area. So check it out, the New York, New Jersey Trails Conference, and we did check in with them, and they followed up with an update, so we will plug it here.
Happy Fall Equinox Trails Collective, Jennifer Zach from the New York, New Jersey Trail Conference, here to provide an update on our Trail-a-thon 100 miles for a 100-year challenge. Started off on September 14th, and with almost 2 weeks into the challenge, we have almost reached our goal of $20,000 with nearly 400 participants. With a month left of the challenge, there is still opportunity to participate, still a wonderful chance to obtain 100 miles by October 31st, especially if you're running those miles. We invite you to participate and take that challenge at www.nynjtc.org. You can find out more through our news item on how to register. And with that, so since we're almost at our goal of 20,000, we need more participants because this week we're upping our goal to 50,000. So more people who are participating, more people are raising awareness, and more funds that we could raise that go directly to support the trails that you love. Big thank you to Ian and his team at Trails Collective for donating the milestone prizes for miles. So thank you so much. It was a great incentive for a lot of people to get out there. We're going to have some more fun in the month of October to celebrate our centennial. So hop on over to nynjtc.org and learn about all the events and register and start logging those miles. Thanks. Have a great day.
Other virtual events in motion, 4th annual Mount Agamenticus Trails Challenge. It's a 1 mile and 5K in York, Maine. Runs need to be completed between September 1st and the 30th, and they also have work days on the originally scheduled event date of, well, actually this is this past weekend, but they're in another one coming up, invasive species management, on October 10th. So another good opportunity to plug in to help your local trails. The Diacon Outdoor Adventure Challenge Virtual 5K in Mechanicsburg, PA. So I mentioned last week the Adventure Center looks pretty fun, but maybe when it's back in action and in person in 2021. But they are putting on a virtual 5K. The virtual edition of the Nasty 9 Trail Run, they have 9 and 3 to 4 mile options in Brushy Hills in Lexington, Virginia. And you can run the marked course through September and submit your time. The Trails to Prevail 10K, a virtual option the week of this week. So it'll end on Friday or Saturday. Basically move in any way in terms of covering some miles and in an effort to celebrate wellness, trails, and the power of community in Portland, Maine, and raising awareness and funds for the Portland trails. And a PATAPSCO Trail Fest, one that I was hoping to do in person, but which switched to virtual with COVID. You can run, or the running window for it now for the virtual option is between September 18th and October 18th. So you are within your window, and you can find further information at, well, we'll plug the link here. Results from this past weekend. Let's see, the 4th annual Forgotten Forest Ultra. It was a 9-hour timed run in Stratford, Connecticut. They had 45 entrants, and they had 48, well, they must have got some last minute. They had 48 finishers, as opposed to forgetting. Remembered the forest on this round with Eric Kyacha, probably pronounced that wrong, of Northampton, taking the overall distance win by a scant .001 miles over Chase Arsenault from Shelton, Connecticut. I don't quite know how that went down. Maybe I'm not totally capturing timed events, but they must have leaned. I mean, if both coming in under 9 hours and one went that hair further, that must have been a pretty cool finish. If anybody out there was at the Forgotten Forest Ultra or has any connections, it'd be cool if there's any video from that finish. And the top distancing female went to Clarice Reinert from New Haven at 46 miles. The Firebird Trail Races, 5K, 13 mile, and 50K events in Windham, Maine. We should just declare this the Maine episode. A lot going on in Maine at the moment. And they had a course which uses the Cross Falmouth Trail from Windham to Falmouth. 5K win indeed went to solo entrant April Huddy. As we said, you should have gotten in on that. 50-50 chances that you would have taken the win. 13 miler had 19 finishers with David Foster and Emily Raish taking the top spots. And the 50K had 21 finishers with Brian Burke and Kylie Parker securing the top podium spot there. The, let's see, TAM Trek was one that happened on Sunday the 20th, and it was a beautiful 19-mile event to benefit the Trail Around Middlebury, and no results yet posted. The Bishop's Events Gnarled Orchard Hard Cider Challenge had a 5K, 10K, and half at the Valley View Farm. They had proceeds benefiting the Friends of Sky Meadows. They had 28 finishers of the 10K with wins going to Mike Wilkinson and Kirsten Walker. For the half, 35 finishers with, I missed that one. And the 5K, 56 finishers with Zachary Wedding besting out what I guess would have been a twin brother by 15 seconds for the men's win with Tess Halliday on the women's side. Oh, this was the half. I did get it. Nelson M. Eked out a win by mere 5 seconds over Vladimir Martinez and Andrea Rodman for the women. And then one with a bit more, well, second annual Morgan Hill Meat Grinder put on by Salt City Sports in Morgan Hill State Park and Toggenburg Ski Resort, located in Fabius Cortland area of New York, went down this past Saturday as well. The half marathon wins, actually I'm going to start with, we checked in with Scott English, the head and founder of Salt City Sports and RD for this one. I'm going to let him take it here. He got back with a clip. So Scott, tell us about the Meat Grinder.
Hey, Scott English from Salt City Trail Running here. I want to say thanks to Ian Golden for reaching out and giving us a shout out for our Morgan Hill Meat Grinder that just took place this past weekend. It's an absolutely gorgeous trail run in central New York, just south of Syracuse, running through some great trails, lots of single track, lots of climbs, lots of pain, lots of grinding, lots of getting it done. There's a lot of good stuff that happened this weekend. We had a great time. It was a brisk 29 degrees at the start. Looking forward to getting some people out there next year and hopefully living up to Ian Golden's difficult elevation gain, technical, butt-kicking terrain. Enjoy some photos from the course. Hope to see you in 2021.
And half marathon wins went to Abraham Nan and Erica Zazara, with my ultimate direction goo rep John Radarmal. Nice work, buddy, holding his own for third overall. In the marathon, the wins went to Stephen Young and Rhonda Bullard. And the race for the women's title looked down to a lean. Yeah, that was pretty close. Nice work, Rhonda, who's a local Ithaca area friend, edging Kimberly Rate by only 8 seconds. Good stuff there. Let's see, on the FKT front, Brian Kimmey, 24 minutes, 28 seconds for the Hancock Brook Trail in Connecticut. In Massachusetts, Steve Levandosky, 1 hour 56 minutes for the Monoosnoc Ridge Trail. He lowered Ryan Williams' mark from May by 2.5 minutes. Stephen Kerr, 1 hour 8 minutes for the Rutland State Park in Barre Falls Loop. He shaved 12 minutes off of Ian Ridgway's time from earlier this year, which would have been a baseline mark. In Maine, Sarah Cary, 4 hours 18 minutes for the Tumbledown Jackson and a Little Jackson, 11-mile build in the route description as arguably the most hiked mountain in western Maine. So this mark is a first for it as an FKT. Straddling Maine and New Hampshire, Jesse Wall and Carissa Winning put in a 9 hour 59 minute FKT for the 31-mile Mahoosuc Traverse section of the AT. In New York, Michelle Merlis, solid athlete, 5:29 for the oh-so-awesome Devil's Path. For those of you who haven't been on the Devil's Path before, just a really cool technical stretch of trail through the Catskills. So definitely one to have on your radars as a destination. You can join some of the events that cover sections in there, whether it be seeing if you can get into Escarpment or Manitou's Revenge, or coming out the other side with the Cat's Tail marathon, which comes up in, I think, just a couple weeks. But in any case, Devil's Path, a really cool stretch. Michelle Merlis shaved 4 minutes off of Charlotte Winkler's unsupported mark from just earlier in this month. So great job, Michelle. And Paul Mayle, Ariana Gertis, and Lachian Moore put down FKT for the Cold River Loop. And then Davin Oskvig returned for another go at the Northville Placid Trail. This is one as a trail that's been, it will be an altered FKT mark. I believe it was something like, I don't know, 10 or 12 miles or something like that of a prior paved stretch, I think, was converted to or added in trail. So a significantly tougher change. And the new one being, I think, is going to be roughly, I think it was like 15 to 20 miles longer. I think Davin will have run somewhere around 140 miles. I don't have the metrics yet, hasn't been submitted, versus the 122-mile mark that is there for it now. So for this updated or revised section, Davin ran it, I believe, just under or just over, I think, 39 hours. So we'll hopefully have more coming up there. But great job, Davin, and the crew that supported him. In PA, Sarah Walcott-Sapp, 5 hours, 38 minutes for the Wissahickon Four Corners. Sounds like a pretty cool urban wilderness of a loop, and for a baseline unsupported female mark. In Virginia, Sean McDermott, 6:28 for the 45-mile Washington and Old Dominion Rail Trail. Matt Szymanski put down for the wicked tough and iconic stretch of the AT through Shenandoah, covering 110 miles with 31,500 feet of gain in 23 hours, 14 minutes. And he took 10 minutes off of Daniel Fogg's time from October of 2019. And this marks the 5th FKT set on this stretch in, I think, just since June. So a lot of activity down there, and that's for different marks, whether it be male, female, supported, unsupported. So a really wild stretch. So some fit people getting after it down there. And Ty Ralston, 2 hours, 30 minutes for the Mills Creek Turkey Pen Loop in the George Washington National Forest. And last one, Vermont, Krista Alderdice rather, and Guy Alderdice Jr., 11 hours, 35 minutes for the Mount Ascutney. And it was a baseline mark for a mixed gender team with all 5 trails up and down configuration. So nice work to all out there in the FKT front and all those who just hammered out your own hard run or FKT in your neck of the woods, submitted or not. So let's see, in-person events coming up. September 25th, or actually coming up, let's say, this one's September 25th and 26th. The Pemberton 24, a festival of 5Ks with a format of a 5K starting every hour, with participants able to run as many as you like. So check it out at the Pemberton 24, and we'll plug the link. The Yeti 100-mile endurance run, I think I had maybe said that this was last weekend. I think I must have looked at a inaccurate date somewhere. But this Friday, September 25th, is when it starts. Pretty wild-looking course, and it just looks like a blast of an event entity that puts it on, and the community that attends and surrounds it. This one for 100 miles gains only 3,000 feet while crossing 141 trestles along the crushed cinder Virginia Creeper Trail in Abington, Virginia. It's a Western States qualifier, so it filled up and I think capped out long ago, back in January. Going in, I think last I checked, somewhere around 330 entrants, give or take. So good luck to all those taking on the Yeti, and nice work to the crew, just creating a fun atmosphere for the trail community. On Saturday, September 26th, the Squatchung Surprise. It's a 3 hour, 6 hour, and 5K. This year, I think there was another, maybe it was a 9 hour that they couldn't do this year, within the Watchung Reservation in Mountainside, New Jersey, and put on also here by the Party People, the Sasquatch Trail Running Group. It's an event where your fate is influenced by the luck of the golf ball bucket draw, and registration was capped at 100 this year and long full, but check it out for next year, and we'll plug the link anyway. The Iron Masters Challenge, 50K was canceled, 15K is still running at the Pine Grove Furnace State Park in Gardner's, PA, and we'll plug the link. And Live Out Loud Running's Blue to Blue Challenge in New Haven, Connecticut. They bill it as Connecticut's hardest 50K, making use of the Regicides and Quinnipiac trails and mixing in some solid Beast Coast technicality. Looks like it has some rugged terrain, coastline views in Connecticut, 6,500 feet of elevation gain. There's currently 43 entrants in the mix, with registration still open through today at 11:59 p.m. So get on it if you're interested and you want a good, solid 50K in your future here. Also this Saturday, the rugged, tough, remote, and beautiful World's End 50K and 100K is on their pushback date, going down in World's End State Park and Loyalsock State Forest. This is also Western States qualifier and long capped out with 280 entrants. And I'll be down there volunteering for the full duration around mile 41 for the 100K course at the aid station there. So if you're running, I'll see you in passing, hopefully throw you a little support your way. If you want an opportunity to volunteer, come join me down at the aid station for Trails Collective. Sunday, September 27th, Steep Endurance is back at it with the Angevine Farm Half Marathon. It's a new pushback date, and they have a new 50K option as well, and covering a scenic rolling dual and single track in Warren, Connecticut. There's currently about 100 entrants, and get on it at Ultra Sign Up. The Mid-Penn Trailblazers Dam Half Marathon Trail Race at RB Winter State Park in Mifflinburg, PA. It looks like a fun rolling course with a few rock gardens and a signature end-of-race 700-foot half-mile Stairway to Heaven climb before a 1.5-mile downhill stretch into the finish. Sounds like a flowy and fun course. I'm not sure if they have any COVID precautions in play. I don't see those on the website, which I mentioned last week, makes me a little anxious, I guess, with everything going on. But it looks like it's going on. It looks like a pretty cool course. And let's see, coming up Wednesday, September 30th, or next week, is Hump Day 5K at Blue Mountain Resort, PA, as part of their Hump Day series. Goes off Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pretty good, low-key opportunity to get out there some trails and get some ascent and descending in. And Solomon's Golden Trail Championships, as we mentioned last week. There's a given away as part of this series, 76 golden tickets. And there is a section of the, well, it's the iconic Petzl Traverse that's used as the northeast section for those to qualify. If you know a speedster, chances are that's already on their radar if they have any intentions. But it'll be cool to see how that all shakes out with who gets the golden tickets on that section. And I believe it's only a week or so left. So get on it if you're going to. So that's what we got coming to you this week for the Trails Collective. As I mentioned, we have one more voice from the collective, a friend, Erin Millay. I'm going to let her close you out this week and hope to check in with you next week. Really appreciate anything you can do to just click the share button on social media, click like on YouTube. It really does make a difference. It does help and only takes a second. So help us out, and we will check in with you next week. See ya!
Hi, my name's Erin Millay. Thank you to Ian for having me on to talk about my recent experience at the Morgan Hill Meat Grinder half marathon that was held this past weekend out in Fabius, New York, near Toggenburg Ski Mountain. First of all, also thank you to Scott English and Salt City Trail Runners for hosting this amazing event. It was an absolutely beautiful day and the trails were perfect. So it was a great day out there. I have been a runner for a very, very long time, but I'm a relative newbie to this crazy world of trail running. I did run a lot of trails in college, or so I thought I ran a lot of trails, but some of these trails that I've been experiencing in the last several months are a new experience. Anyway, Morgan Hill was challenging and exhausting, but I think I had a smile on my face the entire time. So it's something to be said about being out in the trails and, the miles just ticked on by. Also having an actual event to be a part of with a start line and a finish line, and that feeling that you only get when you know that there's a clock on you and it's a race. So I thoroughly enjoyed being able to be a part of that experience. I look forward to many more races with Salt City and, or I guess just races in general, but to be out there again this past weekend was amazing, challenging, invigorating, and really just got me excited and looking forward to more trails in the future. So thank you, Scott. Thank you, Salt City. Thank you, Morgan Hill. And thank you, Ian. All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.